Hello, and welcome to the Dadandsonspodcast.
Wow. We're starting early with this one.
Hey, boys.
Do you realize what that's going to sound like next to the new music, though?
A very crazy juxtaposition of celebration.
From here on out, we're going to have to, constantly second guess how grand and exciting and classy the first few words are, because the listeners are going to be hearing that while we goof.
Hopefully. I should have said, welcome to the Patreon-supported Dadanson's podcast.
Oh my god.
You sound like you have a big mustache, man. Like a huge mustache.
Like you're a mascot.
It's going back and forth. I've been annoying my partner with it all week while we've been working in the same home office. And it's a little bit lumpy space princess from Adventure Time, and then a little bit somewhere else that I can't quite place. Just like, I want to say Valley Girl bitch, but I'm not really sure if that would even fit, being British and also having no idea what Valley Girls from California sound like.
Yeah, they don't. That's. I would like to say that's too much flavor, but let me tell you.
Damn. I over-exaggerated.
Yeah.
Do I need to bring it down here a little bit?
Yeah, but it's definitely lumpy. God, I love lumpy, man. Jeez.
When it comes to that kind of character, isn't there a colorful selection of Spice Girls-esque, like UK flavored ditzy midriff pop star?
Doesn't Pendleton Ward actually voice Lumpy Space Princess as well? The guy who actually made Adventure Time. I think he is actually the voice of Lumpy Space Princess.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Pendleton Ward is the kind of person who I've never seen what he looks like in picture, but I can absolutely put together the image in my head.
He's like mini George R.R. Martin. That's what he looks like to me.
I was definitely picturing a beard. I don't even know if he has a beard.
I Google him, and then
okay.
Can you confirm for me whether you also think that maybe he's a mini George R.R. Martin?
Yeah, I'm picturing
Seriously?
a younger George R.R. Martin. I'm picturing driver cap, big beard, and glasses. Maybe with a scarf. A Pacific Northwestern hipster type character. Let's see what Pendleton Ward actually looks like. Oh, look at that! A big beard with glasses and George hair. Okay, yeah, I see. He's also kind of struggling with the crown balding and the sweep over you got to do. I respect that hustle.
Oh,
but yeah, that's funny. It's funny how people sound like their voices so often.
I mean, yeah.
Sometimes you don't get that, man. Sometimes you don't get that.
To be fair, George R.R. Martin has a funny voice that suits how he looks.
Okay,
it's kind of high pitched and kind of cheerful.
I've seen plenty of pictures, but I've never heard him talk. But I do think I could imagine what he sounds like from his picture.
From videos I've seen, he kind of laughs and pats his belly a bit like you imagine Santa Claus would.
Yeah, he looks like a comfy granddad.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I imagine like comforting old man, but with an undercurrent of strong protection.
I thought you were gonna say something else then. Just because he's old. A short undercurrent smell of urine.
No.
Aww.
Boys, George,
yeah,
Matt,
yeah.
What are you guys gonna be like when you're old men?
Oh man.
I don't know if I'm gonna be an old man.
I'm gonna be a good dad. It's like I'm gonna spend most of my time being a dad. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sort of retire and just spend most of my time being a good dad. That's what I do.
So is this like something that's for real and totally serious? Like, are you feeling those urges?
No, I'm just wondering. No, whoa.
Yeah.
We got we're inheriting a bunch of little ones into our own Discord community that need herding. I don't need children at this point.
They're practice mode.
Yeah, they're practice mode. We've got to take care of the sons, the daughters, and everybody else first.
The Discord people?
Yeah, because that's like going to be hurting lots of sheep, I think.
I seriously wonder if, like, whenever I have to tell my kid to stop doing something stupid, if, like, all of these Discord dramas are going to be useful experience for
absolutely
putting
not.
it politely, putting it nicely.
Absolutely not.
George can't keep you and me in line, Matt. I don't know how he's going to keep his kids in line, to be fair.
Yeah. George, to see you deal with a kid would be
a pleasure.
Fascinating. Yes, it would be fascinating. just to see, yeah, you're just like foaming at the mouth, man. I just want to see that. I need to. First, I want to see like the interesting woman that you date and marry, and then, or not marry. I don't know. We're all old here.
You don't need to get married. Actually.
We don't need to get married. And have a kid.
We already talked about it. We gotta save it for immigration whenever you gotta move out.
That's true.
Country. Yeah.
Oh, George with a couple of little halfies running around the house.
Yeah,
save sex for love and marriage for immigration, kids.
Oh my god,
Matt, you're gonna be like the dad who goes viral on Twitter for like a whatever the equivalent of a Vine and TikTok is in like 10, 15 years time. And it's going to be like you either teaching your kid to like no scope motherfuckers on Call of Duty, or you're going to be the kind of dad that takes him to karate and is like, stand up, come on, you can do it. And like G and the mom from the background, like, punch him. And they're like 2 years old and absolutely tiny.
Yeah, I can see. I've been playing way too much Warzone lately. Just way
in preparation of being a father, man. Just in preparation of being a father.
Yeah, kid. What did we got you for your monitor? What? You only had 60 hertz? But Dad, I can only see 60 hertz. Bitch. You don't know what you're talking about.
Matt's driving home with the newborn baby, and he looks at this kid and says, "All right, boys, where are we dropping?"
To his kid. Have you done your diagnostics?
Oh my god!
Tell me.
Where are we dropping?
Where are we dropping?
Mom leaves. She's in the gulag.
Yeah.
So, do you guys seriously 100% believe that experience moderating internet communities is actually not useful at all for parenting? You think that all this stuff that I've and we've to an extent have gone through is just going to be completely useless during the next chapter of our life, where we have to corral small, unintelligent humans for their own good?
I feel like we were doing okay until you called everybody who's potentially signed up for our Patreon and joined the Discord to be unintelligent human beings.
Oh, I wasn't talking about them. I was talking about any future kids who unfortunately have to be born by us.
Oh no, I feel like, hear me out here, whether you two are great dads or not is irrelevant to the fact that if I was still in Japan and raised a child, that child might have a safer and possibly
absolutely
more I don't know, like bullying is pretty prevalent in Japan. So Japanese childhoods are not categorically happy. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I would say you're white, so you're fine. But then you did if this things go, according to plan, you marry an Asian woman. Man, let me tell you, my Asian friends, they get a lot of racism, man.
Oh yeah,
a lot of racism, like open on the street, disgusting bullshit.
And that's the thing is, like, half of kids in Japan, when they're in school, they get teased and bullied. But then it's almost like a miracle that when they hit teenagers, they're not quite Japanese and they're not quite foreign. So they get treated as like these supermodel gods who end up getting modeling contracts based on just having a slightly good complexion and a bone structure that combines the best of both worlds. So they immediately become the most popular people in the room. It's such a weird formula.
You guys describe it in like whatever they're in, like half. Like,
oh yeah, in Japan it's just half and it's kind of rude. But they're just like, oh, you're a hafu. You're not Japanese and you're something else.
It's just like, oh my god, like this is
Japan's pretty nasty when it comes to
the
old
it's a bit weird,
breeding.
Man. It's a bit weird, man. Makes me think about Persona again.
Speaking of,
let me say before I dive, head first into some Persona,
like head first into a TV, you might.
Yes. I played a indie game called Dex.
Just DEX.
DEX.
I'm sure you play with your Dex every day, Matt.
It's a cyberpunk. It's a cyberpunk side-scrolling RPG. It has like choices and everything like that. And voice acting.
We'll be talking about more cyberpunk Dex later too.
Voice acting, and it's pretty good. I gotta say, I enjoyed every bit of that game. I'm not gonna lie.
How long is it? You finished it?
Yeah. It's gotta be like, it's short. It's gotta be like 10-ish hours.
Oh yeah, like a short, satisfying Dex.
Yes.
I like it sometimes when they're just a nice consumable experience.
A nice consumable Dex.
Yeah, I understand. We all know, George. We all know you're not gonna finish Persona or any anime that we give you. We all know this, George. You don't have to, pre-game us with this bullshit.
At least the size of this Dex sounds not too intimidating to me.
Yeah. I like a little bit of Metrovania in my games. Just a little dabble, probably a lot. But this one does have a little bit of that. It does has dialogue choices. It has good voice acting. Like it has that cyberpunk. Was it snack that you need until November?
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of. I'm looking at the trailer now. It reminds me a lot of Shadowrun in the way it looks.
Those are awfully foggy, neon lit streets. Yes.
It does have that vibe. They have succeeded in keeping that vibe proper, like in the voice acting and everything. Nice. You get implants throughout the game. The upgrades are fun. And the new version that they have is like the enhanced version. The art is going to be a little bit weird. It's not going to be the best.
I like the pixel art looks pretty good, but the cutscene bits, it has that cheap comic book digital art look that I'm not really a big fan of.
Yeah, I know. I was like, Liam's like the way this looks. I remember Fells.
I like the pixel art. The pixel art it's that over detailed pixel art, like where they've just fucking crammed shit tons of detail into it. But it does look pretty good.
Yeah. At least the portraits are fine. It's definitely a good game, but it's still, how I am with endings, and the ending is still a little weird.
At least you reach them.
Like people just don't know how to end games, man. But the journey. Wow,
this came out in 2015.
Yeah, man, and it was a fucking good play. Let me tell you, it was a fucking good play. I just want to mention, because I like to dabble in some indie games. That right there, if you're looking for a little cyberpunk to put in your veins, and you do like side strolling, you look like a little bit of upgrades on the way, some good voice acting. Kid you not, some decent everything is voice acted. This will definitely fill that urge for a cheap price.
How come no one talks about it?
How come no one talks about a lot of the games that I've like talked about? I've never heard of a lot of the stuff that I've played. It's just like, wow, how do all these games exist nowadays and even earn a living? I wonder, because it's just hard. It's just hard. Like, not every game is going to be West of Loathing, where they they strike gold.
Dex, however, you're looking at the Steam. The Steam has 9 out of 10. It's $20 still, so I imagine it comes down as hell. But it's got over 2,000 reviews, which tends to mean it's sold at least 100K copies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
2K means like 100K.
I mean, it possibly means more. The actual number ratio from people who buy your game to people who will review your game on Steam is so low, that if you got like, I mean, it's probably not as good as it used to be, but I imagine because this game is from 2015, that this is a pretty tight number. That if you can get over 1,000, it's like 1 to 10 if you're lucky. So you're doing pretty good if you get over 1,000 reviews, let's say.
It must be a smaller team for sure. Must be.
Other takeaway from that is that Steam reviewers are just the 2%ers.
Like, do you guys review games on Steam? Do you?
No.
Exactly, right? And I mean, Matt, especially you, right? I'm looking at you. You play a lot more games on Steam than both me and George, right? And sometimes I press the thumbs up or the thumbs down when it asks me if you like it, but I don't write any extensive reviews or anything and that kind of thing. So if you think hardcore, like, I've never used Steam as a community forum. I know a lot of people do, but they tend to centralize around specific games. Team Fortress 2 back in the day, Slay the Spire, and other games like that have communities. But yeah, as a tool of like actual reviews and aggregates and stuff like that, it's the number ratio is pretty low to people who actually buy your game. It's why you'll always see devs on Twitter be like, please review the game. Please.
Right. Add it to your wish list and all that type of stuff. Yeah.
I mean, wish list is another thing where, pretty crazy how much that can really change where you're appearing in the Steam algorithm.
I should probably like start like try to collect like a lot of these indie games into one little list. The ones that don't just so I can like at least have them be like, okay, yeah, it's because someone tweeted at me. They're like, oh, why don't you just like make like a curated list? It's like, that might not.
You can make
be
Steam lists, right? You can make.
Yeah. I could probably do that. Yeah, just so like people like, oh, I want to see if I might be interested in something that's like just like a little bit above the average stuff that goes on Steam. I was about to say Amazon for some reason because I've just been on Amazon looking at acoustic form, but like it's a little bit above the average, and I might like, because not everyone's gonna like everything that's an indie game. Like you got to be in a specific mood sometimes, and I was definitely in a cyberpunk mood. But yeah,
it's such a shame that this thing is like 5 years old. It has the positive reviews. The screenshots and the trailers all look pretty darn good, and apparently it hits all the right notes that it's supposed to. But I have not ever heard of this, I think, until you mentioned it. How did you find out about it? How do you find out about this stuff in general?
Fell Seal? Like, I didn't even know that existed. A lot of this stuff, I mean, I could go through the list. Like,
did you buy it in this Steam summer sale?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a Wikipedia page, so
that's something.
Yeah, it was crowdfunded on Kickstarter originally. So,
but there's so many games that are on there. There's so many games that you run into. You're like, oh, shit. Like, I didn't know this was even on Kickstarter. I didn't even know this was in early access.
Matt, do you want to hear the what the Metacritic is? Okay, do you want to take a guess? It's 9 out of 10 on Steam. You've obviously given it.
I would say like 6 or 7. One of those.
Yeah, it's a 62 on Metacritic.
I really disagree with that. There's no way that game is a 6. It's so far from a 6. And I don't really care about scores that much, but how many reviewers quotations here, bunny ears?
Yeah, I don't know. Just on the Wikipedia, it has a breakdown of the different Metacritic averages.
I mean, you see these top 10 lists from like PC Gamer and all these guys. They're just trash. So like, I don't know who listen. I don't know who writes these things, but like I mean, Do you guys go there? I always get trashed on it. Liam always laughs at me like, "Oh my god, Matt, stop talking trash about it." These sites, they spout out garbage, So like, I don't really care about their opinion.
They could have patched the game significantly since that launch.
Well, they've not.
Version.
They've been working on another game since then, so they've only ever released one game.
Like a year, more than a year after launch, sometimes you just can't even know anymore if that score is going to represent what you're going to be getting into if the game's been heavily updated and changed.
Yeah, I heard even on Steam, they said the game was a little bit buggy before, at least.
Yeah, was it?
Or whatever. Yeah, so before the enhanced edition, before it got on, like, I think PS4. I think it got on PS4. It's on PS4, and it has like a demo. The demo is what got me. I played a demo, and I was like, "Oh, the voice acting is good." But it seems like even it on PS4, I'm seeing like 6s and 4s. I don't know why people don't like it. To be honest, it's not. Well, it really isn't like unplayable or something. Like, okay, I'll short things. Just a couple things. The combat can get kind of old. Not in old of like annoying, but you can kind of just win every battle after a certain amount of upgrades. It gets trivial. There's just a certain way you can beat everybody. There's some of the upgrades are useless, stuff like that, like little things like that could have been tweaked. But I mean, it's an old. Probably when they're redoing it, they're not going to just redesign the whole freaking thing if it's selling. So, but it's not enough for me to be like, I'm not going to finish this game because I just enjoyed the atmosphere of the game so much, and it wasn't bad. The only bug I've ever run into is that I would keep climbing the ladder. When I get to the top, it didn't break anything. It just keep climbing the ladder, like an invisible ladder, just climbing up. I wish I could do that in real life, but yeah. Other than that, yeah. So,
paw at the air,
literally pawing at the air. It's like, what is happening here? But yeah. So, what have you guys been playing?
I played a little more of The Last of Us. Played it with a friend who was interested in it. Sat down, spent like 45 minutes with him when nothing happened, and he was kind of put off by that. So I ruined his.
Nothing happened.
He's just a hater, dog.
And no, I've been talking.
I'm waiting.
There's been a lot.
I should
there's
play.
There's been a lot of conversation this week about whether games are too long. We've talked about it a lot on this show.
Mm-hmm.
We've always said games are too long, and this game. Like, it's somebody, like, I was like 10 hours through it. I'm about 15 now. Somebody posted on the YouTube comments.
15?
Yeah.
In a movie game, you're 15 hours in? Holy shit.
I know. And somebody put, like, 10 hours, you're not even halfway through it. And I was like, man, I don't think I can do this. Because there's nothing that is keeping me going, really.
Is it filled with filler?
Or
is it a constant, like, story going on? They're talking, right? It's not like God of War where there's like a bunch of side shit, right?
There's not a bunch of side shit because that would be even more interesting than a lot of this. It's just a lot of entering a dilapidated building, opening every drawer, finding some stuff, and then finding a note that might be interesting. And most of the time it's not. It's narrative stuff like BioShock. And then enemies turn up. Man. And you're like, you've got to stealth around, or because depending on, like, seriously, if you want to play this like a stealth game, make the difficulty the hardest difficulty because this game is way too easy or normal. Otherwise, you can just dodge everything and then just hit back. Anyway, I played a lot more of that. Don't know when I'm going to finish it. I carried on playing Xenoblade. Still playing Xenoblade. I'm at the Earthsea now. I'm like 34 hours in. I'm still going, and I'm loving it.
We're 35 hours in like 3 weeks ago.
Yes, but to the fact that I still got an extra 9 hours in with a couple of games that have come out since, and with other stuff going on, is good. It's a good sign, Matt. It's a good sign. I don't because after playing The Last of Us, going back to playing Xenoblade felt great. I was like just running around, fucking beating up monsters, and then I got to the Earthsea, and it's beautiful, and I'm like, this is what I want in a video game. I want mechanics,
so
combat, and like not necessarily combat, but fun combat that's strategic, and then also these beautiful, weird environments. Anyway, not to shit on The Last of Us too much, but it was a nice juxtaposition, put it that way. And then the only other game I played, I bought one game on the Steam Summer Sale, and I blame YouTube's algorithms for this.
Oh. Something
so I don't particularly like motorsport very much. Like not that I don't like it. I just don't.
But you've played motorcycle games though.
No.
Like at least 2 recently.
You like 2-wheeled vehicle games.
Yes, you do.
No, so shut up. 4 wheels. Actually,
you traded in your car for a bicycle. Is what you're
I like biking games, but they're not motorsports. They're you got to pedal to the metal for those things.
Okay.
So
the button is the same.
So I watched like one video about F1 because I had a passing interest in F1 when I was a kid. I always kind of liked it. But I watched like one video on YouTube like a couple of weeks back about how Formula 1 is adapting to coronavirus in 2020. And then lo and behold, all of YouTube, my recommendations is filled with F1 Formula 1 videos.
Okay.
And then I'm like, I'm an idiot. So I start pressing on them and watching about F1. And then I'm watching classic F1 moments. And then I'm watching like the best F1 drivers of all time. And I'm watching all of these videos about F1. And for like 3 fucking weeks now, I've been watching nothing but Formula 1 videos. So that entail led to me purchasing F1 2019 in the Steam Summer Sale.
Did not.
You're gonna become one of those guys.
Oh my god!
I did.
How is it?
And I spent 20 hours playing it.
You spent more hours playing a car game than finishing Last of Us. That doesn't make sense.
I think it makes sense.
Oh my god. To be honest, I don't even know how to respond to that, Joy. I don't even know what you play.
But those, like, if a action cinematic game with a super serious story and gameplay that doesn't seem like anything special, like those can be such a slog if you're already used to the experience and if you know what you're gonna get.
El Presidente Liam didn't finish Xenoblades, but he's played Last of Us, right? Got himself a nice little cold from Last of Us, and did not finish it, and did not finish the other game that he started playing, and then he went and bought Formula and almost did the same amount of hours that he did for the Xenoblade Chronicles. No, none of that makes sense.
Remember what Ian Bogost said, though? That non-human things like automobiles and machines can oftentimes tell better stories in games than dialogue and writing and script and stuff. Oh my god.
That's such a George answer, dude. I love it.
In my defense, whether this is defensible or not, in my defense, one, I really like driving in real life anyway. I'm somebody who loves driving, but since I moved to Kyoto, I don't have a car anymore. I can't drive. It sucks. And my British license has expired, and I need to get a new one, but I can't because I have to return to the UK to get it. So I actually really love driving, and I can't drive at the moment. So I don't know whether that's affected me a little bit. Secondly, this game is really good. Like it's made by Codemasters, who are like, racing royalty, right? They did Dirt, they did, some great racing games. They know exactly what they're doing. And the one thing that's been amazing about this game to me is it's fucking hard. It's really hard. Like F1 cars are really hard to control. Like they take like I don't want to say respect, but they take like a serious consideration when you're like throwing them around a circuit, and the game captures that really well. So when you're flying at high speeds, and I play with like the steering wheel view to really like simulate, racing, and I don't have any assists on, which has made it even more exhilarating.
Yeah.
And like flying down, Monza or Monaco or Australia, whatever, these classic circuits and stuff is so exciting. And then because you practice, I'm doing like the career mode. So, I went up through Formula 2 and now I joined the Renault team. I'm like making my way up as a driver into the world. It's like a little RPG. You can like customize your car and build up points to get different parts for your car to be improved because your car's shit compared to like Ferrari and McLaren. And
sounds like you're living the dream, man.
Oh man, it's amazing. And then you have practice sessions, and in those practice sessions, you're not just racing around to feel the track, even though it's really good if you know the track. But if you achieve like certain like goals that the racing team wants you to achieve, like fastest lap or fastest through this corner, and all these different challenges that incentivize you, that gives you points to customize your car. So it feels well balanced that if you're practicing, the car is getting better and that kind of thing. And then you have the qualifying day and you get one shot. So after all of that learning of the track and getting used to it, you get one shot to do the fastest you possibly can. And if you fuck it up, you're fucked. And then on the race day, depending on what happens with your qualifying, you're either fighting in the middle against everybody to try and get even like 1 point. And it's so good. And even though it's at 25% of what real Formula 1 is, so real Formula 1 is like 70 laps. It's like 3 hours long.
Holy cow.
Oh
the races in this are about, depending on how long the track is, they're between 11 to 17 laps long. So, but even that is still like 30 minutes to 40 minutes long, depending on pit stops and stuff like that.
Oh my god!
Because it's almost about 1 minute 30 for each lap. I want to say on average. So times that by 17 or whatever. Every lap you're controlling this really difficult to control car, and you're trying to just keep it on the track, and then you're facing everybody else. But you've got to do it like 17 times for 30 minutes. It's like it's exhausting, and just the mental. It's so weird. It's a video game, but. The mental, like, I don't know how to describe it, just the mental toll it takes on, like, doing it. I can only do one race at a time because, man, I'm just like, after each race. If I got first once and I was over the moon, like, and actually won the Grand Prix because I fought so hard for it. It was amazing.
So what happens if you do perfectly fine for 29 minutes of a 30-minute race and you screw up at the very, very end after working your ass off?
That's life.
So that's the beauty of it, right? Depending on the assist, because it's quite customizable for accessibilities. Like you can turn it off, so you can have this flashback thing, which is like you can rewind time and then go through the corner correctly or something, which feels like cheating. I don't want that. If you do that and you crash and you don't have that on, you're out. And that's it. That's it. You don't get any points. You turned up that weekend in Monaco and you fucking crashed the car, you dickhead. And then it's over. And it feels amazing when you bet you just scraped the wheel, or you damage the car and you have to go into the pit lane and get it fixed. And you're like, you're watching this AI fix your car and you're like, fucking hurry it up, boys. Come on. we gotta get out there. Oh, man, it's so good. But it's, I don't know, just that exhilarating fun and driving these cars around. And it has lots of, like, classic mode. So before we jumped on, I was trying Michael Schumacher's Ferrari. And it's, like, against all the other classic cars. And it's just so much faster and handles so great compared to my shitty Renault. It feels so fun. And yeah, I've never enjoyed a car game in my life, but this one, I'm having a lot of fun.
It happens sometimes. Like I really got into the crew for a little while it was floating around, and this talk about 70 lap long endurance races reminds me of these like 60 to 90 minute cross country races you would do in the crew. I think we should impose a percentile based scoring system when it comes to races, because what I've always felt was really mean and unfair about a race is that you can be in first place for most of the race, but if you slip up at the very, very end of these giant 3-hour-long cross-country endurance races, all of a sudden, that one mistake counts for all 3 hours.
Yes, that's life, dude.
Participation medal, George.
Well, you don't earn first place if you don't do a perfect run.
I'm not arguing for participation trophies. What I'm saying is that if I was in first place for 70% of the race, I should get 70% of the points. That's all.
No. Yo, just there's this thing called the cheat engine. You should probably download that and play that for everything.
Well, you could just turn the assist on.
Always in first place. Just click that button, the little box there.
So you can have the racing lines on, George, so you can follow. You could have the brake assist on if you wanted the brake assist on, and you could also just have the flashback on, where you can just press the select button and then it rewinds time for you, and you can just corner that you crashed on, you can just brake a little better and then go around it nice and easy like.
But if I am putting in all of that effort to be in first place for most of the race, then shouldn't that still count for something?
No.
Like if I'm in first place up until, I don't know, like someone knocks into me and I spin out and then lose horribly in 8th place at the very, very end. Is that really how we're going to do things there? All of that effort and credit just gets thrown away because of one little mistake at the final stretch?
No one remembers you for your journey, man. Only people remember you for what you did last.
For your victories.
Yeah. What have you done for me lately, though? You know? It's how it always is, man. I remember the last few racing games I played were like Midnight Club and Need for Speed. Man, the remix with Snoop Dogg and The Door. Oh, my God.
That was your favorite car?
Oh, my God. No. It's a song in the back then where you could have like real songs in your video games, like Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 2. Oh my God, so good.
I'm just suggesting alternative ways in which we can accredit racing. Maybe, okay, whatever. I'll just start racing 2 and see how that goes, and then I'll get back to you guys with the new scoring system, percentile based.
Everything needs to be a George game, right, George?
Racing 2 by George.
He complains about Warzone. Like, what am I dying?
Okay. Do you want to talk about Warzone? Are we good to transition?
I don't know, man. We will disagree on Warzone quite a bit. Let me tell you. Let's talk about Persona.
I want to hear about Persona.
Let's talk about Persona.
Okay. And I'm sure there's more fan demands.
You go first, George, because I guarantee you I have way too much to say.
Because that is a game I have finished.
Played a lot more.
I have finished in the past, so I'm interested.
How many years
ago
have you finished for?
I finished it on PS2 when I was in university when it first came out, which must have been 10 years ago.
And it wasn't the golden version.
No, and then I did play the golden version on PS Vita about 7 years ago, I want to say.
And you finished it?
Yeah, I finished it twice.
Shit. Okay.
I love Persona, so... Well, Persona 3 and 4, anyway.
Let me just say, for people who don't know, 80-hour games.
80 hours.
Okay.
We have 80 hours ahead of us.
Go ahead, George.
I'm at hour 5. I started this week. Played, I want to say 3-ish 90-minute sessions over the course of the week. And I'm a little worried. Not a lot has happened. That's not true. A lot has happened, but way too slowly. Like, I can tell from the get-go, this is a very slow burn. I'm a little put off and a little worried by how much of it is tapping A. Like, I can sit there and measure the time and see speaking of things not happening over a 30-minute session, there are 30-minute stretches in this game where you will maybe talk to 3 characters who will reiterate 2 newly discovered plot points, and you might be given 2 dialogue choices, and that will be your stretch from one save point to the next. I think it's fun. I have had fun during all those stretches, but I am worried if it's not going to hook me in the long term because of how uneventful it's been so far and how uninvolving that gameplay is with so many A-button taps. So I wish I was playing it on the Vita, actually. And I can see in retrospect how this game would have blown up when it came out on the Vita, because when you're playing a game portably, that experience of pressing like one button to read the visual novel as it comes through you, it's so much more palatable to me when it's not on a big screen in front of my face. So like I'm trying to get into it. I don't know if I'm quite seeing the appeal right now. I can see it getting up there. The characters are fun. There's some good humor behind it. But at the same time, there's also some, I think, writing problems that Matt and I have been talking about or at least Matt has been talking about in Discord over the coming week. Like characters like Nanako seem pandering, like cute little girl who says cute little girl things. There's the undercurrent of horniness and
me saying the pervy stuff.
Yeah, the undercurrent of perverty stuff is everyone is so horny.
Oh yeah, this game is definitely pervy, but I think it's a theme. Now that I've inside, it's a theme because P5 is not the same. It's two different games.
So is P4 about the horniness? Does the story address the psychological?
P4 is definitely about the horniness. Like, it's so squished in there. Like, you can't hide from it. Teachers are gross. Everyone's fucking gross. Except for your little girl. It's just like, you can't break free from it. And every time Liam gets quiet, and I think there's a reason why he gets quiet.
No, I'm just listening. I'm just listening.
Exactly, because he's finished it twice, and it's just there's no way. I'm not gonna have to. I can't read the comments in this YouTube. There's no way that there's not something else going on.
He's shaking his head and smiling and rubbing his palms every now and then and thinking of something in there.
No, I'm not. No. So I don't need to chime into this conversation because you guys are playing, the PC version that's just come out, right? It does have some graphical upgrades. Like if you see side-by-side comparisons, it is a little better, but I understand.
Look at the subject change.
I understand George's thought. Like I much preferred playing Golden than I did the PS2 version on my TV. Obviously, that was still a PS2 game on PS3 back in the day, so it didn't look that great. But I think it's two parts. I think Persona 4 was when the English started getting good, because Persona 3 came out, and in the beginning, it was like all the other Persona games. It was kind of, a sort of niche RPG, had these cool mechanics. And then, it sort of started building a community. And even with Persona 3, there was like a couple of reviews. It's almost like the Yakuza games in a similar vein. They came out, Innocent Sin come out on the Shin Megami Tensei games prior, but, it wasn't like massive like it is now. Like if Persona 6 was announced tomorrow, it'd be like huge news. Persona 4 came out.
You mean a decade from now?
And Persona 4 started getting like really good reviews. And it was like the English localization had upped a little bit over Persona 3. But it still was like this hyper niche Japanese game. Like it's a Japanese game. And I think Persona 5 is, even though the setting is Japan and it's Japanese through and through, there's a lot about it that is, Anne is in there and she's blonde and, and what's his name? The blonde kid, right? There's a lot of, not westernization of Persona 5, but it's definitely a bit more of like a level playing field. It's still in Tokyo, but Tokyo is the most non-Japanese place in the world that is in Japan. Persona 4 is like Inaka Japan, Japanese people, and is written and references a lot more about Japan, I think, than Persona 5 does. And with that comes the immaturity.
You played 5?
Yeah, I played 5. I haven't finished it, but I played, about 50 hours of it.
Oh, okay. So we're on the same. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Persona 4 almost touches upon Japan's immature approach to sexual tension and stuff like that. I don't think Japan deals with sex in a mature way. It doesn't. They pixelize and censor a lot of genitalia and stuff like that. We don't do that in the West.
But they also have the weirdest porn.
That's not the worst problem.
And if you walk into just a convenience store, a konbini, the porn's right there, right? It's like eye level. You can see it. Kids can fucking see it. Like, and it's all girls who are dressed like 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds, and it's like there is this weird imbalance of like what sex is in Japan.
Tingas in the grocery store like totally speak to how different of a view on sex it is. Like that's a health item you throw in the cart with the toothpaste is sex toys.
And just to let you guys get back to it, I think on the rating, I think the game touches on that a little bit, but I actually, in its defense, I think a lot of Persona 4 is quite good, especially with certain characters who George doesn't know about. Matt, I don't know if you know about yet.
I'll get to my speed.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot about, apart from the overall story of the game and what's going on, I think there's a lot about like people trying to understand who they are and like what they're into and that kind of thing. And I think Persona 4 does that quite well sometimes, especially fighting the shadow versions of yourself and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of
the anime coming of age things seem apparent.
But I think Persona does it better than a lot of anime does. A lot of anime hops on about that shit and does it in a very Japanese kind of way, like kokuhaku and all this other shit that is very Japanese. Whereas Persona 4 does it at a very human level, where it's talking about people's inner fears, people's anxieties, people's sexual preferences, people's blah, 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 blah. And I think
I'm liking that, actually. Like the story that is there 5 hours in.
You haven't scratched the surface, George, unfortunately.
And I'm looking forward to that, actually. Okay, so for reference, like we just wrapped up Yukiko's Castle, and it's just now 5 hours in, gotten to the point of the time where I actually have to care about what I spend doing my days.
Matt, I'm interested to hear, because you were,
Oh, you ready? Okay. Well,
yeah.
Okay.
All right. I played both. I didn't finish 5. I played 40 hours, a little bit more than 40 hours of 5. And then I played 4 for 40 hours.
Oh my God.
Yes, that's right. You bought it for me way back. I've been seeping my brain into it
earlier this week.
Warzone and so good. Me and Pat talk about it a lot because he's beat 5. Friend of the show, Pat. We all know him from Japan.
Maybe we could get him on.
Finnish dude, love him. Yeah, we should. I think everybody would like him.
Our Persona friend Pat.
Our Persona anime high school extraordinaire. P5, it looks good. Has anime cutscenes everywhere. The production value is great. The style is great. I would say the main character has more style. In 4, it's a little bit more bland. Your guy,
yeah, but he starts out that way.
He's a little bit more bland.
I'm still intimidated by the fashions here.
He didn't have a name when the game first came out.
So he's just called Hero in the cutscenes.
Yeah, and then he got the what's his name? You
Hero.
You Nakagami or something like that.
I named him Georgie.
So P5's Code of Pain is really good. I mean, really good.
Yeah,
but
it's
P4,
yeah.
I have to agree with what Liam told me like months ago. I think it's a better game.
It is.
The reason why, it may not have all the bells and whistles, but when it gets down to it, I'm giggling and I'm laughing, and it's more, the characters are lively. They're not depressing. Like they're way the story is way more intriguing. The way to describe the palaces in part 5 in 5 is just nonsense. At least for those first, few tens of hours, and you're just left kind of like, you know when a game explains something to you and you're supposed to understand it, or at least have them call it anime bullshit like they do in 4. They don't address that. It's like you're just made to understand what palaces are, and you keep going in, you keep having all this extra gameplay in the palaces, and you don't even know what it is. It doesn't make any sense at all. But in P4, the way it's done, it seems like P4 is clean. Like, again, I'm playing the golden version compared to P5 regular version. I'm pretty sure the royal version is a better version. In in a lot of ways. But this is what I'm comparing it to. P4 is definitely not a game, if you haven't played any Persona game, to sleep on. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now. Don't sleep on this one, because I would feel like once you play P5, you're going to see all the nice cities and everything like that, and you're going to be like, P4 looking like a PS2 game. It doesn't look too bad, but it's obvious. Like,
it's
the characters and everything.
weird how old it feels now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised. This game came out in 2008, so
if you want to come to Japan and you've never been to Japan and your view of Japan is Tokyo and stuff, play Persona 5, because that's what you'll get. If you want to see what Japan really is like and what Japan is like for almost 90% of the country, play Persona 4, because the environments and villages of Persona 4 is exactly what Japan is like in the countryside. Exactly what it's like.
I do want to say the illusion of choice is pretty ridiculous here. So I'm just going to
I've noticed that.
Straight talk about P4. The illusion of choice is it's outrageous. It's outrageous. Like, you literally can pick anything and they would repeat the same shit to you. And it's just like, oh no.
They say something that fits all three of the above choices. Yes,
exactly. And it's if you've been playing games, it's really easy to notice. Like, it's easy to notice from pretty much anyone who's gonna play a Persona game. It's not terrible all the time, but it's there. You're on rails. You can't get outside the ride. It's gonna be there. The thing I would say I just don't like about Persona games in general is that it's like a time management game.
Oh god,
okay?
Yes.
It's a grind. Okay, if you're you have to balance the time, balance the things that you can do without the time moving forward versus the things that do move the time forward. And if you are trying to do the thing that does move the time forward and you don't have enough courage, you have to grind for that and then come back and do that. Like, it's just like you have to have a spreadsheet next to you.
Damn.
In order to get this min-max your time efficiently. And there's a lot of soul links to max up, and you need to get those soul links to max. You know what I'm saying? You get so much rewarded. Not just your Persona XP, but other things happen, especially with certain characters in 4, which is quite good. I feel like it's a bit bittersweet almost sometimes, Persona 4. It's 80 hours, and I would say most of the time you're going through days so quickly, trying to hang out with this girl, this guy, or do your job to do this, or to get enough courage, plus get close to this person. And it's just that right there. If you probably look at it that way, you're not going to have a good time. Yeah. But if I would say the reason why I'm okay with this is I do enjoy the interactions a lot more. Like, I felt it a lot more in 5. I was just like, what the fuck? And it made me stop playing.
It's funny because people will be listening and be like, Liam, never finishes RPGs or blah, blah, blah. But I really like them and stuff. And I think the difference is, for me, with Persona 5 and Persona 4, which has almost exactly the same time management nonsense that you have to deal with, or being limited to doing things, and then you have to go do your job and you have to do all those different things, is some of us a lot more streamlined. Because it's limited by being originally a PS2 game. You leave a building, somebody talks to you, and then you go to a place, and then you do the social link, and you talk to the people you need to. Whereas in Persona 5, it's like you'd have six different people.
It's a harder game. Persona 5 is a harder game.
It's 6 different people you'd have to talk to in that run, and it's like returning to the house in Persona 5, and the guy in the cafe as you walk in every time talking to you. And then you go upstairs, and then so it's a lot more streamlined, and I don't think it's streamlined on purpose. It's a limitations of what the game was originally, which is a PS2 game. But that's good. It's good.
It's good, and that's the game. Good. If you're gonna beat 1, even though everyone likes Joker and all that, and I agree, Joker is a better character.
I still think 3 is my favorite, but 4 is the best game.
Yeah, I would like to play 3 again, but man, God, if I got to go back before 4, I don't know if I could do it. Let me tell I it's not that I care about graphics that much. I mean, you see the games I play, but you know, Jesus Christ, man. I don't want to be playing pixels. Like part of the anime stuff is like you want to see some anime, man. And that's the thing. You don't really see a lot of anime in 4. I mean, 5, you just had cut scenes all the time. I mean,
it's very
so many cool shit was going on. I almost wish that they just P4 got remade because it would be so good. It would be so. I want to say the whole girlfriend thing. You have to pick one if you want to max out your link. That is incredibly frustrating because you don't want to have multiple girlfriends because you'll get some scenes, right?
You'll get some surprises. Yeah, some scenes will happen if you try that, kids.
It's not like game breaking scenes. It will just if you like to have your atmosphere a certain way, I think it might break it. To have like that one scene on whatever day that would mess it up. Yeah.
Why did it take them a decade to make Persona 5 and like 3 years to make Persona 4?
I don't know. Persona 5 is production budget values to the nth degree more than 4.
Yeah.
The animation that must have gone into 5 is insane. And the voice acting on top, Persona 4 doesn't have as much voice acting. It does have a lot of voice acting. Doesn't have as much as 5. Completely 3D. PS4. I mean, it was originally PS3. And it was only 6 years, right? Persona 4 came out in what? 2010? And Persona 5 came out in 2016. So, 2008 Persona 4 came out in Japan.
I can't believe Persona 5 is like old. You know?
Yeah. It came out in Japan on PS3 the year after I moved here, and I was very tempted, and then the PS4 version came out. And
you got Royal.
I bought it.
You have Royal.
No, I didn't buy Royal.
Oh.
No, I think I've thought about going back to P5 a lot. I just don't want to. And now
I understand.
There's so much expectation around 5 and stuff like that because of how beloved Persona has become and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm just gonna wait, I think, for whatever's next from Atlas. I'd rather go back and play P3 or P4, to be honest.
I think I have to beat at least one. Well, George bought it for me, 4. So I have to beat it. On top of, I need to beat at least one P4 game. You know, and I need to...
I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Feel that emptiness that I would feel after I complete an 80-hour game about anime people and their pervy habits. God. Like, I just have to know what that feels like. And this is what Pat felt after beating P5. Not 4, but 5. So, I'm gonna see.
I think you're always going to have that sort of feeling if you stick with an RPG anyway. I think that's the thing RPGs have in their favor is if you put the time investment in anyway, whether the game is bad or good, you tend to always have some sort of fond memory about it anyway because of the Stockholm syndrome that comes with playing an 80 to 100 hour RPG.
Dude,
and going back to what we talked about with Dex about reviews on Steam, if anybody was wondering, Persona 4 came out 2 weeks ago. 10 out of 10 rating on Steam. 15,810 reviews on Steam. And I imagine a lot of that is people who have already played the game. Not
I bet
people
Atlas is going to be like, well, I guess we have to release stuff on PC now. No shit.
Please release
shit.
The PSP version of Persona 3.
And I know people get annoyed with the whole like release it on PC thing, but like come on, like release it on PC. It's made on computers. Like you might as well get a little PC port going on. You might as well. That Sony money is good though.
The suspicion is that 15,000 user reviews is just 2% of how many copies they would have sold.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Yeah,
that is
a lot.
Nuts.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this game will probably sell over 500,000 at least. I would imagine on Steam. I mean, someone's massive.
They got their money back. And it's going to keep selling. It's P4. I do. If I beat P4 and you're saying P3 is good, I might want to go back because that was my first Persona. I never beat it because my friend destroyed my PS2. But
Persona 5, not Persona Royale included, just Persona 5, sold 3.2 million copies worldwide. For a fucking long-ass, crazy niche Japanese RPG, that's insane. So then you have the Royal figures on top of that, and then you think about how popular PS. I mean, I wonder how much Persona 4 Golden.
Like compare it to something else. Well, what's another niche that fits that? The Dragon Quest?
Nier Automata? Dragon's Dogma?
No,
maybe?
Nier is a platinum game. I don't know if it's the same. Like, probably Dragon Quest. Like, I feel like that's niche enough. Like, no one really talks about Dragon Quest.
I think the numbers in Japan would...
In Japan, they do. Dragon Quest is huge.
Oh, that was worldwide?
Japan.
That wasn't US only?
That was worldwide.
Oh, shit.
You've got to compare it to something like Xenoblade Chronicles, right? This, beloved RPG that's almost 10 years old.
No one talks about Xenoblade, that's for sure.
What?
Yeah, I haven't heard about it in months.
I haven't heard about it at all, man. You hear about it. Xenoblade is like, oh, you want to play like a really cool game on the Wii? That's Xenoblade.
No one in my social circle talks about it.
Or the 3DS or Switch? Excuse me. Oh,
okay.
Oh, playing the Wii. You're talking about a game that just came to PC from the PlayStation Vita. I don't think it's gonna like to stand up.
But Persona is such like, it's a thing. It's been a thing in like throughout high school, like my high school years. Always my friends, we all watched anime. It's like, oh man, you play Persona? Like it used to sell out at GameStop all the time, at least in Miami. It was like that niche thing that everyone got. Kind of like what Demon Souls was at first, and then all the crazy people got it.
And then it was no longer niche.
Yeah, it ended up being a much huger.
I have a kind of an interesting question.
Yeah.
At the stage of the story that I'm at, the big thing that's hooking me in so far basically is like the liveliness of the characters. You guys were mentioning that earlier, how like fun and colorful. The music is so good. The game's style is what's keeping me going so far. But one thing that I also think is really interesting is that unlike your usual coming of age supernatural mystery, the kids in this are actually speaking of immaturity, they're actually kind of dumb like actual high schoolers would be. So I can't help but wonder this whole time, why don't they tell any of the adults? They swear that the adults won't believe them that supernatural crazy stuff is happening in the neighborhood, but they also have flip phones. And it's 2008. They have flip phones. They could take pictures of the Midnight Channel. They could take pictures of them getting swooped into TVs and then tell the adults and...
No, but the adults know though.
They know about the Midnight Channel?
Yeah, they do know about the oh, that's right. You're not far. Okay, not to say that they know about the Midnight Channel.
Yeah, let's not spoil it.
There's been yeah, you're only 5 hours in. What am I I'm just going to spill out spoilers for you. But there is a part where one of the people who get kidnapped say what happened to them, and they just looked at him like he was crazy. So that's kind of how they react. But there are other things. There are other things that happened. So
yeah, I mean, I got like what 75 hours.
Don't play P5. Don't play P5. And the thing is, you're not gonna finish this. You're not gonna finish this. I'm gonna say it right now on whatever episode we're on right now, that you're not gonna finish this. You gave it to me, so I can hold your torch and I'll feed you information to say on the podcast. Don't worry, I got you, George. I got you. I'll be like, yo, George. All right, so this is the end. You beat it, okay?
George. Do you want to make a Patreon incentive that we alternate? I'll stream Xenoblade Chronicles, you'll stream Persona, and one day, in 20 years' time, we will have both finished those two games.
The thing is because it's not a George game. It's not a George game, and it's 80 hours, and it's 80 hours. And in your mind, you're like, this is 80 hours. I'm not going to be able to finish this. This is 80 hours. I'm not going to be, you're not going to enjoy
looking
it.
at your save file time and you're like, I'm
like
26 hours in and this feels like it's already gone on forever.
But the hook could still happen. Like, I haven't been hating it. It's just like that hook.
You'll get hooked on the story and you'll get hooked on the characters. I think that will happen. I think, George, you have watched anime. You will find the intriguing. It's almost highbrow anime, right? It's like Death Note
that's what I like about this stuff.
Yeah, but the combat is what will weigh you down. Specifically.
Boy.
The dungeons are not as The
dungeons are randomly generated, so
out of the 5 hours that I've played, there has been an incredibly small amount of gameplay in that time, and it was in a dungeon where I had the choice to pick a bonus that would cause enemies not to react to me, and I just picked that one and went straight to the boss and knocked it out, and out of 5 hours of playing, that dungeon...
Oh, no, you're not going to be able to do that all the time, George. Oh, man, the game is going to get you. Unless you put it on easy. You can put it on easy and do that. A lot of people do that stuff.
Yeah, you just can't say it on the internet or else you'll get dunked on.
Why? Man,
because then you're not a real gamer.
I played a game on easy. I don't know. I remember which one, but it's like one of those very specific games where you're just like, I ain't dealing with this shit.
Now we're going to be getting comments about that.
If you like playing games on easy, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with playing a game on easy, man. It depends on where you're at, man. Well, I'm a hardcore dude. I play things on normal, though, most of the time, so...
You should play Persona 3 on easy.
I said it's a normal because I want to feel like I'm a normal person.
So you'll... What about those who like play on easy?
But the thing is, getting through it or not getting through it, you know?
Yeah. What about somebody who finishes Persona 4? I want to say 3 because it's my favorite. But Persona 4 on easy, and they finished it. But you... never finish it, so your story doesn't matter. And you were just playing on normal. Who do you want to be? Who would you rather be?
I have a question for you guys that might...
deflection.
Yeah, exactly, because I don't know if I want to pick those people, because this could be worse. How different would the experience actually be of rolling around in bed watching this, of a playthrough of this on YouTube, instead of rolling around in bed tapping A on a controller that I'm craning my neck around to see on the screen on the other side of the room, because it's just tapping A. If I'm not in a dungeon or pressing A on a battle screen, it feels like I'm just pressing A.
No, because it's a game about having your favorite people that you like and that you want to max out the social links with, because you're not going to do it again, and you only get one shot with some people, and you can always, as Matt said, it's time management, so you got to choose who's your favorite.
Yeah. Who's my favorite girl? And
if you're watching a streamer player or a YouTuber and they pick the person you don't like somebody's like, oh, I'm gonna pick, Yukiko or whatever, and you're like, no, what are you doing? That means for the next 20 hours you watch them play, you're like, oh, they should have chosen what's the name.
Yeah, no one wants to do the hospital janitor job and meet the devil. No one wants that, you know?
That sounds intriguing, though.
They want to hang out with how do you say her name? I keep looking at it and I say Rise.
Chie.
Oh, yeah, I like Chie. Chie is cool.
Well, Chie seems like the one they're just setting you up for.
So. No,
you're talking about Yukiko.
I don't think so.
No,
they definitely set you up for Yukiko pretty heavily.
Yeah, Yukiko is the traditional Japanese maiden who needs saving.
I'm very beautiful and I come from a family of money. There's a lot of societal pressure on me because I'm both beautiful and from a popular family. It's very Japanese. And I giggle all the time because I'm cute. It's funny. They're not bad characters. They have this trait that make you like them.
I really like him. I like Yosuke a lot as well.
Yes, I would. I like him way better than the guy that they had, the troublemaker guy in 5. He annoyed the crap.
Because it's funny because they've all descended downwards. Like Junpei in Persona 3. Junpei, I like Junpei. He was fine. And he was kind of not... the gun... He looks like the gun seller in Persona 5. So I think, he's kind of meant to be like an adult guy. But then you go to Yosuke, and Yosuke's kind of like a younger, not so confident, but kind of swami guy. And then you got right in the middle, which is the blonde guy, Ryuji, from P5, which is he's a delinquent, but he's also a teenager, and he's kind of just like he's kind of middle ground, and that makes him a little less interesting to me. Yeah. Whereas Yosuke and Junpei, they're both completely different, but similar character tropes type characters. Chie is unfortunately the poor girl who will hang out with boys, and in Japan, she'll be constantly told she'll never marry anybody.
I'm so confused by that. Why would it decrease your chances of marrying a boy if you increase the amount of time you spend getting to know boys?
Because that's...
Well, Japan is different from here.
Very Japanese of a girl.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Drastically different. Like, the amount of anime... if you watch a lot of anime, and not to say that will give you an idea, but my God, what? Yeah. Oof, man, Liam, I would love to explore and ask questions when I get over there.
Yeah, dude.
Just to understand all these little holes that I have. I've been there before, but truly just sit and go to the country and really understand what are these people thinking.
It's great. It's great. Yeah. They have some problems like every other country, and Japan seems obviously to resonate through their culture, through their soft power. Video games and anime display Japan in a very Japanese way. It's why Japan is and it's where Japan has such a strong identity. But it's because a lot more so than I think our cultures. I think because we like to create high fantasy and we like to, over exaggerate a lot. I think Persona 4 is a great example of something that is so very down to its essence Japanese, and everything around it outside of, what happens inside of the TV. And I mean, even elements of that are very Japanese, but the whole structure of the city and the way they go to school and how they have practice afterwards, and then they go hang out in the mall because you can't go around to somebody's house and hang out because it's too small, and families are there, and then they go home and they sit and they watch the news on Japanese TV. It's very Japanese, super Japanese, and I think that's why Persona 4 feels quite magical to a lot of people, because it is Japan. It is very different.
And 80 hours of talking to cute girls with a bubbly, lively personality written into them. I can see it.
There are guys.
Cute boys.
There are cute boys in there. So a lot of cute boys. Would you say, Liam, that a lot of things are weird? A lot of media, even the smut stuff, because they're being made by just the older generation? And not the younger generation. I feel like there's a clear difference. Even on the train when I was there, the younger people talk on a train, but the older people just they're quiet, completely quiet. They have
definitely
a different
aura. I think, and also most of Japanese media is made by men, right? And Japan,
exactly.
It's no stranger to anybody, as I mentioned, that Japan's sexual immaturity is quite prevalent, and men in Japan are kind of
40-year-old men.
I don't necessarily want to think it's their fault, but it's what they're subjected to, right? It is the fetishization of young schoolgirls. It's so hard to explain to people why in Japan, what is a running theme through a lot of anime, through a lot of video games in Japan? It's high school. And it's that's because in Japan, there is so much pressure put upon people when they're in high school. It's the defining moment of your life. Because what happens in high school defines what happens for almost the rest of your life, right? For us, it's almost like your job, and then maybe your first job sucks, so you get a second job and you start a career, or the first time you meet a partner, right? For us, there are multiple times where we can say our life was defined by a certain moment.
Yeah.
But in Japan, it's when kids commit themselves to a club, and the people in the club tend to be their friends who will be their friends for life. It's also, depending on how well you perform, for us, university is the most important thing, right? But in Japan, it's once you do high school, if you get into a good university, that's it. That's all the work over. It's almost like a formality going to university and then getting a degree, because you're guaranteed by going to that university that you'll get a job at Panasonic, Sony, Toshiba, or any of those big companies, and then you're set for life because Japan is a hierarchical structure where company loyalty matters, and you get treated really nicely, and you get paid big bonuses, and then
boring,
you just
man.
keep going up and up and up. Yes, and it's super boring and sucks for us, but that's why Japan has been the way it has been.
It sucks for us,
a long time.
white men.
Well, yeah. Sorry, George. Do you have a question, my friend?
I just wanted to ask how familiar you are with this whole system of how like you're supposed to apply for high schools and like submit resumes when you're, I don't know, how young was that age going to cut off? At what age did they put that kind of pressure on a kid to start putting in academic?
Almost immediately. It depends. Japan school is super, super important, and high school, I mean, it depends on location, right? A lot of people move for high schools and stuff like that, but they are ranked, and and depending on where you come from, it can really almost denigrate your position in society. Like, people laugh at you if you come from a bad high school or whatever, or known as one of the bad high schools. But
we laugh at the people who care about that.
I used to live in a block in Kyoto where the single apartments that were not in big buildings, or they were owned and they had more than, I want to say, 2 LDK, which is a certain size, they were costing in the millions to buy. And the people who owned them had like Lamborghinis and shit like that. And they were in this tiny block area that I was living in near the Q office. And it was because it was so expensive because 3 of the best elementary schools were in that area. So everybody who wanted to live in Kyoto, who had money, lived in that block because they wanted to send their kids to those good elementary schools. And it's cray how much that can influence things.
The rich get richer.
But then a lot of Japan is like Persona 4, where it's the countryside and there is only one school. Now all the kids go to there, and that's why they never leave the area and they stay around, because they'll go to the local university and the local high school, and then they'll unfortunately, by the way Japan is, it's hard to, I want to say, be a self-made man, right? Japan isn't set up like our countries are, or Western countries are, to be like the American dream. Grab a hammer and some nails, build yourself a store, and you can be living the dream, right? Like, Japan is not like that. It's like, hey, study, get into a good high school, or go to a high school and then get good scores out of that high school, because you could still go to a bad high school and get really good scores and then go to university. But that's a lot harder, because the teachers who get hired to work in those high schools tend to be not great teachers, because teachers get moved around every year. And that's out of teachers' controls as well. So Japan is like a governing body ran. And then, then once you've done all that, get hired by PlayStation or Sony and then just work. And then it's why you hear stories of like, how did Miyamoto get signed up to work at Nintendo? Well, he was what was he? He was like an industrial design student who went to Kyoto University. That's super good. And then got hired on as an artist. Like, he started at the lowest, even though he had an industrial design degree from one of the best universities. And then, worked his way up. Probably didn't imagine he'd be working in video games.
Such a difference compared to the US.
And the UK too.
We have this whole dynamic of like making fun of people for peaking in high school, right? But it sounds like over there, it's, if you did good in high school, it's like a legitimate bragging point that you're keeping around on your resume.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's nuts.
And parents take it so seriously as well. That's why, like,
it's scary and nuts.
Everything is revolved around high school in Japanese media. The porn, all the girls wear high school uniforms. Anime, a lot of it is slice of life anime or romance anime that takes place around high school age. And it's why movies like, what's its name? Your Name and stuff like that it's set during high school.
I found it so weird because there's so much I want to see outside of that high school bubble. I want to know more about the daily life outside of high school.
And
but when you see them walk around in when you're in Japan, it's like salaryman guys,
You want a salaryman game?
That's the thing is, I think, like, Japanese life for the most part for adults is quite boring, right?
Yeah.
It is salaryman job.
The women seem
nice.
fine though. The women seem like they're having fun.
Well, Japan
But the
is
guys
still
are
a
like
very
boring.
housewife
Huh?
dominated.
Yeah, the women you see outside might be a different pool than the whole entire population.
Japan definitely has a culture of housewife and husband who earns the money and then, go spend that money, go treat yourself, then have a baby and stay home and look after the baby, and then never sleep with each other after that, and then just cheat on each other. Japan can be wild when you're an adult. It has societal issues just like anywhere else does. It's not a paradise, and if you come expecting that, or you come expecting it to be like an anime, it's not. That's the reality of it. But it is interesting to see.
Yeah, I see. I would like to understand that a bit because it's just there's no way for me to comprehend it now because I just don't. This is the little things you would have to learn about Japan and how it is to grow up there and what is expected of you, how people are treated as like when you pick a certain route in life. Like I oh my god, it would be so interesting. But there's just like there's nothing out there to actually like figure this out. You could probably read a few books, but
I mean, I don't really have any. I mean, Japan. It's so hard to describe. To people. It's something you just learn by being here, and that's the thing is Japan is such a society-based place that it's kind of easy to describe because once you know it, everybody knows the same story or everyone knows the same thing. Or whereas America and the UK and Australia or Canada or whatever, or that's English-speaking
it's funny
countries. Everybody's individual. There's so much going on. It's all very different. Yeah.
It's like here, like you can meet people who literally just went through life not noticing a goddamn thing. Like even now, like you just did not notice a dang. Like they're in their own world since they were born, and that has happened here like so many times. So it's funny. It's funny. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Anyways, we went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, we kind of did. I wonder what
Persona 4 is a very good representation of Japan. Put it that way. Then just play that, and you'll get the countryside, how everything's set up. I think it's a pretty good representation.
It does feel like playing a Yakuza game through the eyes of teenagers who still believe in magic. For like the last 2 years of their life, they might be doing that.
Yakuza is like an
Omen club.
It's like a great representation of a very specific aspect of Japanese life in Tokyo or Osaka, and structurally and how the environment is set up, it's a great representation.
You have fights randomly on the street?
No. No.
Hey, like your shirt's not tucked in. Let's go.
That part is very rare.
It's like you have money. Let me hit you. Yeah. God, I was like my favorite thing in Yakuza 0. It's just like fighting the big guy.
Coins spilling out in the street after you defeat a bad guy.
It's just like, man, he has a lot of money. I'm definitely gonna kick his ass. Dude.
Do we have time to talk about Warzone a bit? Switch gears from Japanese.
It depends, George, on what you have to say. It really does.
I think I can be quick. Like what I just straight up actually want to do is shout it out as a recommendation. Like what you were doing a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I really, really like it. I think it is an iterative improvement upon the Battle Royale genre that takes things a step above my previous favorite, which was Apex Legends. Now Call of Duty Warzone is my new favorite. I do miss how much character and color and life Apex Legends has in comparison to it, though. Like, the gunplay in Warzone scratches me better. The player count absolutely does. But the big thing that sells it for me is the what the crossplay does to that difficulty curve. Like, it makes it so much more...
It's not true, though, George. Like, what you're saying there is, like, you keep saying it, but it's not true.
Okay, let's explain for the listeners. Call of Duty Warzone includes crossplay features where console players can play against PC players. And I am of the opinion that when you go up against a console player, you can kind of tell because they spray and pray and they're easy kills, and I like getting those easy kills. It makes me feel good.
If that were true, then you will just be murdering everyone, George. You'll just be murdering and winning games. But that's not that's not what happens though. It's like, because pad players, have you seen a good pad player before? They're gods. There are gods. They can do stuff that I can never do with my mouse. I could never do with my mouse. Like they're not shit at all.
Like there's a little bit of auto aim.
Like even the guy you were playing with actually like knew what he was doing, and that was a change of fresh air. I'll tell you that, because me and Pat be sweating, and we'd be getting real close to a win. So that's the difference when we played on squads. All four of us, you can see the clear difference when everyone's communicating with each other, and we actually just him actually reach top 10 every single time. Like every single game we played after like the first match was top 10. And it was just because we're communicating.
I also think it's because Call of Duty Warzone is easier than Apex Legends to win.
I've won in Apex multiple times, but I can't win in Warzone. It's cursed. It's cursed for me. Apex, I feel, is like an easier game to win at, and that's just I don't know, man. It's not like consoles have like some snap aim or anything like that. It's just,
yeah, I really don't know. This is the opposite for me.
I feel like I know what I'm getting when I'm playing like a mouse player. I don't know.
I hate to like have the momentum of this stuff kind of stop there, because it does feel like the opposite to me. Like I can get shot at by a player and instantly have that Call of Duty lightning strike of you just dropping dead for no reason. Or I can go up against a player who's still late in the match and high up in the scoreboard, but is like trying to hit me with follow-up shots instead, and is not doing as much sprinting as the other players. Like you can tell. I feel, and I mean, I don't know how hard the science has been done, but the pro players of various esports who are playing games made for mouse and keyboard, like you can look at the video and see okay, you know what? Besides all that point, the biggest actual problem I have, besides whether or not you and I experiences match up for the same in the minutiae level, is just that it feels kind of soulless. It feels very, very dispassionately designed, like they clocked into work to hammer this thing out. It's called Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone. Like the Black Ops 4 Battle Royale mode we were playing earlier, Blackout, had alien ray guns and zombies every now and then. There was at least a little bit more life to it, a little bit more fun and fantasy. That's what I miss here. It feels like it's good technically, but not aesthetically. And I feel like it's a little deflating to have something become my new favorite thing in the genre that has this gritty, realistic, unimaginative style, when my previous favorite thing in the series had giant 60-foot dinosaurs in the background of the map and a robot that said, "I hope we have fun and don't die before you begin a match." It's funny. It's fun. And in Call of Duty Warzone, all the funny and funs happen from you giggling at the gameplay. No one in the game is going to be deliberately making those jokes. You just get sick kills.
I'm okay with the style. It's Call of Duty. I don't really expect much, and there's like cool guns and stuff. I would say technically it's cool guns. It's a like whatever. Like I would say it's not optimized. That shit's held together by duct tape.
Yeah, frame rates go up and down all over.
But I really like that game.
You're telling me with 100 gigabyte download they have, there are bugs?
Yeah,
wow.
100 gigabytes, and it's shit. Like you have to install a shader every time you load up the game, and you'll have like glitches if you don't let it finish every time. It is the worst, but I really like it. I really like it because when you get a good team going, it's so fun. It's so fun, and you can hear people die as well. Like when you kill someone and send them to the gulag or death, you can hear like
their
a
voice
short
chat.
like clip, like 2-second
Mhm.
clip of their last comms.
Nice.
And it's like, oh fuck, and then, it's just like, oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I actually got oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like I sprinted around a corner, blasted a guy dead, and heard through my microphone, oh, come on. And it was just, it makes it that much better. This feels like the first super duper polished fun Call of Duty I've played that doesn't feel like it's using 12-year-old Quake 3 technology. No, 20-year-old Quake 3 technology. Have you noticed, Matt, that when you walk forward, you are faster than when you walk backwards or strafe? And how like floppy and loose the movement feels compared to the normal Call of Duties? Like how gunplay is heavier on the recoil. Your
That's a very George thing. I don't know. I can't compare it to other Call of Duties. I've skipped Call of Duty so many times. I've skipped
How does it compare to the Black Ops? Was it Black Ops?
Yeah, Black Ops 4 had Blackout, and that's
Blackout. Original.
It just doesn't feel like that big of a step from the normal Call of Duty styling from Blackout. Like I remember us having similar days in Blackout. Not as good. Like this feels like a more improved, polished version of Blackout, where Matt and I would get some friends together, have some fun helicopter rides, some fun Jeep rides, and we played it like 3 times and kind of forgot about it. But this time we've already played. We've had 3 good sessions, but I'm going to give it more. I really like the solo mode in this one. This Warzone has a good solo mode.
Yeah, people are just camping in the corner.
It's great fun.
Yeah, I that's when I go full sweat mode. I put on my open backs.
Your camelbacks?
I put on my open backs, put up the volume way up, and I'm like, I'm going to hear you fools walking around in this house waiting for me to move. I just keep coming out and running after them. I don't like playing like that, man. So I try to get them out there and freak them out. Oh my God, someone's coming through the door. Throw a little tactical action. Little stun grenade one corner, come through the window. What's up, boy?
Contracts are smart too. The game gives you little short-term 4-minute goals to go fetch something elsewhere on the map, and that gets people moving out of their hiding spots.
Yeah, but
it's
people
like
don't do
mix,
it because they think they're gonna win at the end by sitting there doing nothing. So it's
eventually something prompts you into moving, which I like. Anyways,
the gas. But I would say one thing, if for people who like audio like me, the footsteps in this game is a little ridiculous and inconsistent. So, it's Warzone is free, so you can always like test it out. But if you're playing another BR, I don't know.
Brr.
Yeah, you might want to stay with it because if I don't know, audio makes or breaks a game for me sometimes. I just don't like hearing someone that is coming up on me and they're like, I don't know, like on the roof, and I can't tell if they're on the roof or below me. Like it irritates me. When you can play like any other game, and it's just way better. They really, really messed up a lot of things. I don't know what these dudes are doing. Do not know what these dudes are doing. Yep. We should get one of those guys on the podcast so we can complain to them like, yo, when are you gonna fix Warzone? We could be the angry players. Dad and Sons podcast where
the trial episode.
Yeah. Where we bash devs who obviously don't have control over what bullshit gets worked on. But we bashed them
for
anyway.
our legal rights to
we bashed the artists for footsteps.
We'll put them on trial for footsteps, for having like kind of loose movement. Maybe for not having aliens and zombies and fun, colorful characters and calling the game Call of Duty Warzone. Other than that, the game's fantastic and fine. But what we're not going to put them on trial for is for being too sexy.
Is this a segue?
That was a segue. The segue's been done. We have segged our way into an absolutely insane news story about a guy suing Twitch because the streamers are too scandalous. They're too sexy. They are exacerbating this man's crippling masturbation addiction.
Right.
Eric Estavillo is suing Twitch for $25 million in damages for exposing him to overly suggestive and sexual content from various female streamers. Eric Estavillo claims that he suffers from depression, OCD, panic disorder, agoraphobia, and Crohn's disease. He claims that the Twitch user experience has exacerbated all those conditions by suggesting many suggestive female streamers who are using the immediate gratification of microtransactions that cause them to kiss at the camera or give some kind of sexy microphone noises that would cause sexually addicted viewers to suffer no different from how a casino would be exploiting gambling addicted customers. And in this man's lawsuit, which is very long and in black and white and written completely seriously in legalese across like I'm looking at a 56-page document here that's in black and white with pagination and citation and super text, and every now and then you'll scroll past a picture of like Amaranth squeezing her cleavage in the frame. The plaintiff explains in this lawsuit that he has purchased a fleshlight which went previously largely unused until Twitch, but now often ends up chafing his penis with the device every day. Quote, the plaintiff often stays open for hours staring at the breasts of girl streamers, which ends up damaging his retina and making his eyes bloodshot for days. Eye drops do nothing to hide his shame from his parents, quote, is another actual line from that lawsuit. Thirdly, quote, the plaintiff once ejaculated into his PC monitor, causing a short circuit and a small fire, causing his apartment to black out temporarily. Quote, quote, end quote. That's the end of the quote.
I hate everything about this.
This guy. Sorry, we might personal attack Eric right now, but this guy does not get invited to parties, dude. For sure.
This guy does not give a fuck.
He does not get invited. I mean, it has to be legit, right? Like,
well, that's the lawsuit.
I mean, he gave information that could be extremely embarrassing. This guy doesn't care. This guy believes in his lawsuit, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Right?
And this is true because as it turns out, he's been at it for over a decade. What if I told you that way back in 2009, same person, Eric Estavillo, was opening up some court cases against Blizzard, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo for various gamer offenses from 10 years ago. In Sony's case, he sued them for banning him off the network for breaking the rules. In Microsoft's case, he sued them for the Red Ring of Death, facing the first few runs of Xbox 360s. And in Nintendo's case, it had something...
Did he win?
No. In Nintendo's case, it had something to do with the homebrew channel messing up consoles.
Wait, what?
And in those lawsuits back in those days, he specifically said he does not have friends.
No.
In this lawsuit that he put out a week ago, he says that he has all these crippling mental disorders that have coalesced into a sex addiction that's causing him to burn his house down from jerking off to Twitch too much.
How old is this guy?
I could probably actually look it up and tell you, but I don't know off the back of my head.
Where's his parents?
I guess at home in a different house than him because he went to law school.
He went to law school? No, he did not.
I'm pretty sure that's what you have to do to learn how to learn this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Eric Estavillo is on LinkedIn. He says that his education was at the University of California in Los Angeles, and his one and only job is a retired litigator of the San Francisco Bay Area from 1999 to 2003.
So he's fucking old.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How? Like, man, self-respect is on a... Ooh, man. You know, I'm trying not to make fun of this guy because he obviously has some issues.
He made a biography of his life called The PSN Plaintiff that you can buy on Amazon for $6.
Now, let's go with the 2% rule. How many reviews?
4, 1 out of 5 reviews.
What? Oh, no.
4, 1 out of 5. So if we're going by that rule and it being 1 out of 5, I mean, we could probably like change those numbers, change the equation a little bit. Probably didn't sell much.
On March 24th, 1980, I, Eric Stavilio, was born in San Jose, California. At
80.
first, I came into this world just like everybody else, a clean slate with my whole life ahead of me. While my interest into this world and the early development of the video game market may seem irrelevant to each other, years later they would end up going hand in hand. I am the man who is famously known for suing Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Activision and Blizzard.
And not winning.
This is my story. So 1980. So he's 40.
He's 40.
Some person probably told him, dude, you're famous, dude. You should probably write a book. Bro. You sell a lot of copies, man. And he's like, yeah, man, I'll write a book. Writes a book. Oh, man, I got 10 sales. He's probably so happy. He got 10 sales, man.
I'm skimming through the lawsuit documents now, and it almost seems like he was using it as an excuse to write a big long essay about his personal problems with like sex addiction and his mental health.
And he included the story of him jacking off into his monitor and blacking out his apartment. Like,
yeah.
He really wanted to talk about that. He really wanted to go deep dive into the gritty details of his fleshlight usage. Like, come on. Like,
this is item 3 on the lawsuit,
wrong here.
His fleshlight.
He's either a troll, something's wrong.
Or something's
because I refuse to believe a sane person is suing all these people and writing all that stuff about him. Like, come on. You get nothing from this. The judge is probably up there looking like, wait, what?
Why the fuck are you wasting my time?
I mean, what's happening here? Like, what?
Yeah.
He's probably giggling. She's probably giggling.
Who is his lawyer? Who's the idiot?
It's probably him.
Yeah, he is representing himself.
I mean, who would?
There you have it.
I mean, he's the man. Like, who has the balls to represent Eric? You know,
Eric's got to go it alone,
Eric
dude.
Is a god.
Eric's got to solve this problem for his own self.
Jeez,
it's just,
man.
I still can't believe that I can scroll through a legal document and find on one page a description of a monitor being set on fire by projectile ejaculate from a fleshlight. And then no more than 2 pages before are these like hot bikini pics of sexy Twitch streamers in black and white with little captions underneath them on every page. Like specifically explaining what the picture is exactly of for the court. Wow.
Whoa. Some of these streamers are doing some really crazy stuff. I've never seen streamers do stuff like this before.
Clocking in hours, probably because a lot of it is from what
like way back?
Well, a lot of it is probably off Twitch. There's just like modeling photos of them that were not on Twitch.
Oh, yeah. I've seen the whole Twitter thirst traps. Yeah.
This is from Jessica Negri's OnlyFans, these screenshots in this lawsuit. Eric Estovillo's lawsuit.
Yo, listen.
Anyways.
These girls are taking your money. You can complain. All you guys can complain all you want. But they get paid.
I'm not complaining. Son. Times are hard. Gotta respect the hustle. Speaking of selling sexy pictures of one's body, we have more information now. We have an update on the Cyberpunk 2077 genital customization fiasco of 2020.
I think, what is this? Is the fucking Japan sex zone combined with the Twitch sex zone combined with the Polish cyberpunk sex zone?
This is the P4 episode right here, where it's just we're just tossing a bunch of just pervy for no reason.
What do you mean no reason? Okay. For starters,
the theme.
That thump, the audible thump that you, our favored listener, heard just then actually was Liam facepalming. For seconders, this is what you wanted, right? Remember we were talking about the siren in Final Fantasy and how her pubes were censored for the PSN re-release, and you were like, no, this is news. This is what I want, George.
That was Matt, not me.
Yes.
Yeah. That was probably me.
I'm squeaking at Matt.
I don't want to talk about China.
No, you want to talk about the
Cyberpunk.
What are some good euphemisms for pubes? The cyber spikes. The bush.
There are only two kinds of penises and one type of vagina. Come on.
Okay, yeah, let's get right into it. For reference, they sent out some previews. We have numbers. There are two kinds of penises, 3 kinds of nipples, 5 kinds of pubic hair, and only 1 kind of vagina?
That seems weird,
Come on.
Right? And 5 types of pubic hair? 5?
Most gamers won't even see 1 type of vagina, so, you know.
Oh,
so you want more than enough, right? 1 is just enough, but we want more than enough. I don't know if it counts as customization options, too, if there's just 1 option.
I kid,
not our listeners, though. Our listeners are...
No, of course, they're not gamers. Our listeners have seen multiple vaginas and possibly multiple dicks as well. So, you know. Throwing it out there.
Here on our Patreon supported Dad and Sons podcast.
No, we are no longer. That's done. That's
the soon to be sued by Emilio Eric, whatever his name was.
Wait, the guy who was stuck over here and had to go back to Cuba? That guy? Is it Emilio?
Emilio. I wanted to say Emilio Estevez, but that's Charlie Sheen's brother, right? Or his real name? I forget.
That's a far callback too. That was a 1999 news story.
Oh man. All right, tell us about them dicks.
Yeah, for all of our smoking hot, sexually active listeners who are just rolling in more sex than they're ever going to need for their life. You're come to think of it, we pretty much got it covered. Of all the character customization options in Cyberpunk 2077, these are the only ones we care about, right? The nipples, penises, vagina, and pubic hairs. Because they're
the girls are going to be upset. They only have 1, and if they want to play a dude, they only have 2.
And I'm sure there's like cool gameplay in a very lively, fun city to explore. But come on, this is what we're focused on.
I'm focused on this. Ever since I heard this, this is the only thing I've cared about.
This got you the pre-order?
And there's only 2 shapes? Only 2 shapes of dicks?
Now, they still have time. It comes out in November. They could add 1 other vagina. At least 1 other vagina.
But guys.
Yes.
What's important here is the why. Why do we need to customize these parts?
Well, you know why. Because some shit's going to happen. Some shit's going to go
So let's think more about the why.
I'm not really going to feel like a cyberpunk unless I have incredibly strange genitals.
Dude, there's going to be a couple scenes, man. I want to be... I wonder if each penis has a different, they have different modes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm getting at here? Are they 2 kinds of flaccid penises? Is that what this is? Or two kinds of rock hard, solid penises? I could understand the 1 vagina because vagina, I mean, they don't get rock hard. So
no, well, you can have more than 1 kind of vagina.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's wavy,
I'm not saying
there's
not,
straight.
But the 2 kinds of penises, I mean, have you seen penises? They are definitely way more than 2 types of penises. You know?
And since there's only two, I suspect that whatever two options we get are going to be polar opposites of each other.
Yeah. It's going to be like the, yeah.
One
curves to the left, one curves to the
right.
It's either going to be one bending left and one bending right, or it's going to be one long and one short, and that's it. That'll
circumcised, be it. Uncircumcised.
I want to hear, because I know our listeners are they're gonna customize their stuff. That's for sure. I just know we have a select audience that are actually interested in this story. I want to know what you guys are gonna. You don't have to name like what gender you are, but what are you gonna get? What are you gonna get here? You gonna go vagina? Or are you gonna go a big? There's a penis slider as well. You don't have it here, George, but there is a penis slider.
Oh, there's a slider.
There is a slider.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Yeah. That has multiplied our possibilities exponentially. I am good. That does make me feel a little more secure about pre-ordering Cyberpunk 2077 with my Best Buy gamer card.
I think I might make a girl with a huge dick.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's like, I don't know if the bulge would be there, like while it's in cutscenes.
Right? Like if you make a big hot long dick, you gotta be showing that bulge.
Yeah,
those trousers, those tight leather cyberpunk trousers, have gotta be. Where's the graphical innovations if we're not seeing some bulge?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a cyberpunk girl with the big cyberpunk dick. I do legitimately expect this to get utilized during at least like one segment of gameplay where your character's like body gets chopped up or something and you have to put it back together. like a Ghost in the Shell sort of situation.
You're gonna be fucking.
Is that gonna be the only reason?
No, because that would give us the A rating, right? And it hasn't.
The AO?
In Japan, it's censored completely. I don't think you can customize genitalia.
Well, in Japan,
what?
All genitals are pixelated anyways. Like when you go to the bathroom, Liam, doesn't just
I want to see veins,
mess
bro.
appear.
I want to see veins, Liam.
When I whip out my own penis,
it makes it hard to aim. Pixelated. Yeah. Remember that, Matt? Once...
my hands too. Like just pull them out. Like
I can't imagine how like tricky surgery must be over there because of that. But anyway,
like a gynecologist can see through the matrix. That's how it works in Japan.
They have special glasses like in P4.
You go to school for 8 years to learn how to see through the pixels when in surgery. Yeah. Anyways,
man,
Christ.
The Persona references, and every Persona fan is just like super happy.
Every Persona fan has seen more than one type of vagina.
You're trying to say that with a Persona taste. Wait, you're assuming that only guys play Persona.
No. I'm just saying that all of the women will have also seen one vagina.
That's an accomplishment. Yeah, Persona fans.
You're also assuming. Oh my god! Like this whole end section between Liam and George has been assumptions, and it's been so bad.
And you know what assumptions make out of you and me?
One vagina.
A timestamp. A timestamp at 1:58. That's what it. That's
some
what it
heavy editing.
If you would like to send in a listener question to the Dad and Sons podcast about how many hot singles in your area you have successfully dated.
Oh my god! It gets worse. It gets worse.
And had meaningful relationships or fun evenings, whatever it is you're after, then please tell dadandsonspodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, guys, I'm so sorry.
This week, we have a very special question from Rick the Nick. This is more of a challenge for the podcast. Out of curiosity, I went to George's first video, and it was definitely different than his current style. dot dot dot. I thought it'd be fun. I thought it'd be fun to do.
I thought that too.
I thought it'd be fun to do a classic cringe to your early videos. So could you guys watch at least a bit of George's first videos and give us your hot takes? It'd be hilarious, good fun for Matt and Liam to do your stuff too. Thanks for consistent, comforting content.
Mine would be so ridiculous to do. I don't know why my name is even there.
So I got some tabs opened up. And
oh, you serious?
Zelda,
oh my god! So let's go to the one that made you popular. Let's go to the graveyard one. And
yeah, what's the first one with those big numbers?
Where TV was just like, let's get this dude on.
Ooh, the graveyard episode where I filmed an Oakland cemetery around the grandmas who were looking at me all weird.
I already know, like,
George, you're so skinny.
Old style George was more for the people. New style George is more satchel, where he uses huge words. He makes it super fucking complicated to even get through the fucking video. Like, you're just lost. And it's just like, okay, I need to go back to college to understand the complexities of George's video here.
Compared to like the Zelda script, I don't know. Like, a lot of my early stuff just strikes me as so much more pretentious because it's not about problems in the real world as much as the new ones are.
Let's talk about history.
Can I just say, I don't know. I basically tuned out because I'm watching George's, I assume, first video. It's dated the oldest, the Zelda critical close-up. One, nice blazer. Two, you're a lot skinnier than you are now. Three, what happened to the goatee representation you got going on? You built out the sides of your beard. You filled it out a little bit. I would say half like indie game developer look combined with somebody who may just be coming off meth.
2012. Holy shit, George.
Also, you love Zelda, it seems. Whereas, since I've known you, apart from one Zelda game, you pretty much hate Zelda.
I don't pretty much hate Zelda. You just happen to enter into the time in my life where the latest big, expensive Zelda game didn't make me super jazzy like the old ones. That's all.
Also, that keyboard you have in this video looks a lot quieter than what you have now. Maybe you should use that one.
Did I meet you 6 years ago? Holy hell, George.
You know what? I went to Matt's old videos, and there's definitely a line in the sand where the Guild Wars 2 logo stops showing up.
Yep.
Oh man, this is gonna be great.
Oh no, let's not, guys.
The oldest.
Have you guys haven't seen my old stuff, though. You guys are not as...
Guild Wars 2 original concept art.
I am watching Forest Path picture version original music by Matt Visual right now.
I used to make music back then. It was like
you used to make
a bunch
music?
of loops and stuff that I used to do. Yeah. Oh my god, you're not listening to it. Yeah, it's just some
I'm rocking
shit.
out.
This is how that was like my first videos.
Matt, do you know what this is going to be great for?
What?
Our eventual Patreon-supported D&D streams.
Oh my god. No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Matt Visual bringing you the music.
No. Oh, like my music taste and what I understand. My understanding of music has changed. Everything has changed. Like if I were to make music again, it would be it would be so different.
But listen to this wispy, romantic tone take you away to a calm, quiet, magical forest path. Don't you want to go on an adventure to this music?
Oh my god. I hate you guys.
So let's see if we can see your hair.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it's the MMO versus other MMOs. Mac
I think if you go earlier than that one though, there's some unique 8-year-old Matt hair that looks different even from that.
A blob? My first video to get like on Kotaku and all that is the Guild Wars 2 versus other MMOs thing.
Yeah, that's the one I'm watching now.
When I was a big chunky boy, I was
yeah, the
Fair
big
play,
chunky
Matt.
look. That is
fair fucking play.
That
big
is a
chunky
different
boy.
Matt than
I
what,
look completely
what we
different.
know and love.
That's the Matt that ate Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Jeez, dude. I don't look anything like that. Holy shit.
You look like a completely different person. It's actually really impressive.
It does look like a completely different person. It looks like your dweeby younger brother, and now you're the older, more muscular, hard, bearded, grizzled version of that.
Is it just me, or did like learning how to put on fashion and get haircuts get way easier at 24-ish?
I mean, you're still learning, so...
Oh my god. We're done roasting me, okay? We're on Matt now.
Oh, shit.
And I'm trying to be very complimentary of his music and bodily transformation.
His music was pretty good.
Yeah, I guess.
Man, this is just making me want to play Guild Wars 2 again. I like it, Matt. The one thing I like about Matt's videos that I haven't noticed before, his Guild Wars 2 play videos, is the tiny Matt head. Like, that is green screened like, next to the mini map.
Wait, which one?
Oh, you have eraser hair in these.
Guild Wars 2, Tiny Azura, Huge Frogs, / interactive Let's Play episode 6. And the screen is obviously a massive game screen, and then next to the the UI and the minimap is just a tiny little Matt head.
Oh, okay. Back when I used to do that. Yeah.
I barely even noticed you were there. It's adorable.
Yeah, I didn't like covering the game. I feel like the game is... People really like seeing my face. Like, I've gotten more views on non-gaming stuff than I've gotten on gaming stuff. Except for my reviews. A lot of people like the reviews. Shit, I don't even know what to do. Like, I'm a different person than I was. The last gaming thing I did was 3 years ago. Then I did a Japan trip 2 years ago. And then I did that video, 1 year ago? That other video.
I had no idea you made music.
I love music.
I have never scrolled by this far. You've never mentioned making music.
Yeah, because
how much more you want to talk about it.
I didn't really do much to make it. I just put sounds together.
I just opened up a video called Guild Wars 2, so they nerfed karma farming. And that is the most dope hair
yeah,
I've seen.
Whoa.
What happened to that? That is fucking amazing.
Dude,
you look
stress,
like an Apex
dude.
legend.
Stress.
Matt,
My hair went
for
away.
anybody who is not visually following along, Matt has shaved sides, sort of similar to me, and then has like the most bitchin' Mohican afro.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite hairstyles.
That's fucking cool as shit.
I constantly change. Like, that was the thing. Like, I had a mohawk, and I changed my hair. Just kind of like finding different things to do. And I think that was when I was like most getting towards it. I was dressing a little bit differently back then too. I started caring about the stuff that I wore, and I still think I don't look quite as
so from that to like 10 videos later, you are getting super skinny, and it's about nourishment and stuff. It's good shit.
I really wish that there was more of a community around male fashion advice on the internet.
No, there is, dude.
There is. I just wish it was like bigger and more popular, because that shit like really helped out a lot when I discovered it.
Just look it up. I had to learn too.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. Like,
yep. Me too.
Like,
I had a really good
this
peak.
is stuff that you just don't really think about a lot until you think about it and you realize, shit, I've been dressing like a fool this whole time.
Like the fit. Like that's something I never even considered until recent years. Like my hair in those early videos looks absolutely awful.
And then
I had no idea what to do with it, and there was no resources telling me. And so I just wonder, like, how much the world would need to change for you to log on to Reddit and see, like, an infographic of male fashion advice instead of what you normally see that gets broadcasted to the community.
Our male fashion used to be pretty damn good.
Uniqlo.
Uniqlo?
Uniqlo. Yeah, I keep trying to add more to it. Yeah. Every time. Uniqlo, that's a good place. And it's a Japanese store, and everything is just like so organized in there. I love it.
But I feel like what we need more of are guides, like a poster on the wall that says, okay, if you have this hair color, then this style of shirt color.
You can find stuff like that, like all male fashion. Reddit is pretty good for that.
Reddit
I'm
is good for
colorblind and have
everything.
social anxiety.
Reddit is amazing. I'm glad Reddit exists.
You can post a picture of yourself, and then people will suggest things for you.
Look up online if you don't want to, take pictures of yourself or whatever like that. Go online on YouTube, and there's actual videos telling you stuff.
I know. I guess to reiterate, fine, okay. I wish this was as incorporated into like the massive mass media influences that have crossed paths with my daily life before I hit 24. I would have liked to have discovered this stuff before then. Yeah, it would have been. My life would have been so much different if I discovered that stuff in high school, or college. Like the fact that it happened afterwards has probably like nixed a lot of social opportunities away that could have happened back then.
The thing is, that's life. That's it. Just you learn things late.
Sometimes
I learned things a lot later than I needed to.
But it's never too late to change.
Yeah.
It is late enough to wrap up this podcast, though.
It certainly is. On some good advice.
Guys.
You never know how to finish it, though.
Guys,
Matt.
just go in the mirror. If something's a little bit too baggy, might want to tighten up. Not too tight now. You don't want the overbulge. Okay?
Follow a guide.
You don't want to get the Y bulge, where you're seeing, and if you have no muscles in your legs, it's not looking to don't wear them too tight. But if it's too baggy, and they're jeans especially,
maybe you can come and talk some fashion with us in our brand new Patreon Discord. I don't know.
Oh my God.